It's likely that you've heard of this case already because of its absurd facts, but what exactly happened here, and what is the case's wider legal significance? Mrs. Donoghue went to a cafe where her friend bought her a bottle of ginger beer, manufactured by Mr. Stevenson. It turned out that the bottle had a decomposed snail inside of it. As a result, Mrs. Donoghue became ill. Mrs. Donoghue wished to bring legal proceedings against Mr. Stevenson, and the question for the House of Lords to answer was whether the manufacturer owed a duty of care to Mrs. Donoghue despite there not being any contractual relations between the two. The House of Lords found that Stevenson was liable to Donoghue in negligence, as a duty of care was found to exist, which had been breached here. Lord Atkins stated that we owe a duty to persons who are so closely and directly affected by our acts that we ought reasonably to have them in contemplation as being so affected when we are directing our mind to the acts or omissions which are called in question. This is known as the neighbour principle in tort law, and that's all a bit of a mouthful really. What does it mean specifically? Well, let's look at how the neighbour principle applied here. As a manufacturer, Stevenson owed a duty to the eventual consumer of the product, Donoghue. The manufacturer ought reasonably to have consumers of their product in contemplation as being potentially affected by an omission to ensure product safety. In this case, Stevenson's omission would have been the omission to prevent the snail from entering the ginger beer bottle. And as Lord Macmillan clarified, it's important to note that this duty is owed to the eventual consumer of the product, not just the person who bought it. Previously in English law, duties of care had only existed in very specific situations. However, this case established a general duty of care owed to neighbours, meaning that the situations where a duty could be recognised was greatly expanded. Here, because of the neighbour principle, it was found that manufacturers owe a general duty of care to consumers of their products. So although this incident was a pretty unpleasant one for Mrs. Donoghue, she was able to resort to the law for compensation, and following this decision, companies have a strong incentive to ensure that their products are perfectly safe. This hopefully means that you won't be finding any snails in your beer anytime soon. Cheers to that. For more on this case, please visit the link in the description, which will take you to our website. You'll also be able to find more case summaries there.